Hi all and welcome back to our video interview series. I'm really pleased today to be able to introduce you to Andrew from Activ8 Recruitment and Ant Logistics. Andrew, welcome.
Hi, Steve. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good. It's sunny, so I'm happy.
Good stuff. So Andrew, just give us a little bit of background. Activ8 Recruitment and Ant Logistics. What do you guys do?
So two fairly different businesses. Activ8 Recruitment, what we do in a nutshell is we find IT professionals and we place them into companies that need them, really. So it's either operational IT, like developers, project managers, that kind of thing, or it's salespeople of IT, so sales managers, business development managers. So it's just that usual model of clients will come to me for hard to fill jobs, and I'll get myself and my team will go find those people and we put them together and help them through that process. Yeah.
Amazing.
And logistics, it's one of those, you either during lockdown you either start a second company or got a dog.
Okay.
Mine was the second start a company. I provide warehousing and warehousing software solutions for enterprise, huge enterprise clients,
Okay.
for their teams that go into retail. So they can order directly from my warehouse. It's all automated and processed accordingly and then dispatched.
Amazing. So you kind of suggested there, in lockdown, you obviously started a second business, but you got a dog. So your choice was a second business.
Yeah.
What was the impact of COVID then? What kind of led to that decision? How did you end up taking that step into owning a second business?
Well, it was really born by A, necessity, and B, opportunity, right?
Okay.
So I've been running my recruitment business I started in 2019, and so I'd been running just over a year. Things were going well. I had clients. I started from scratch, so I didn't come from a recruitment background. Had clients. Everything was going okay, and then of course, as soon as March 2020 rolled around, everyone stopped. No one knew what was going to happen, so all recruitment stopped.
Yeah.
Dead. No matter where we were in the process, offers I had out for people to start were retracted, and it was nothing going on. So for a few weeks, I did what I think everyone did and started to try after new business to try and get people in. I've got these candidates. Let's see if we can get them placed somewhere. And there was so much uncertainty in the market that no one was going to employ anybody into a business that could potentially then fail, right? So with nothing to do, I started with some DIY projects around the house, and when they dried up, I found out that Microsoft had an opportunity for some new warehousing supply. So
Okay.
I built some software and pitched to them and won their contract, and that's how the logistics business came about.
Amazing. So kind of coming out the back of the pandemic then, obviously the world of recruitment's opened back up hugely. I think most people listening and watching will agree it's hard to find talent out there at the moment, let alone obviously then having the second business as well. What did that period of the pandemic teach you, and what's kind of come out the back of that now over the past couple of years for you, Andrew?
So the pandemic taught me something that I really already know, and that is don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's a horrible cliche term, but if you rely purely on either one income stream or too heavily on a small client base, you're at risk, because your clients are only going to stay with you if things are good, right? And you might not be able to predict what's going to happen. You might be doing a great job, you might be delivering really well, and their business might also be doing really well, and then suddenly you haven't got any more work. So the pandemic was obviously a really extreme example of that, but that could happen at any point. Another supplier could come in and just trump you on price, on quality, and then or even just through personal relationships, and you lose that business. Yeah. So spreading your income streams is a good way to go. And if you're going to do that, if you were to be as adventurous as having two businesses, I would say you pick two in polar opposites. Yeah.
So when one's up, one's down, there's always going to be a strong foothold across one of them, kind of no matter what the economy's doing.
Yeah. In theory, I mean, no one's bomb-proof.
No one's perfect.
The good thing is with a warehousing business is if retail shuts down, guess what? Everyone's got to keep storing stuff in my warehouse because they can't get it out, which means you can still continue to charge people for that.
Yeah.
So there is a tick over income coming in.
Amazing. And would you kind of say that's the biggest? You said you've been going since 2019. Would you say therefore that kind of split in revenue and income is the biggest learning you've had in business, or is there anything that you'd say is kind of trumped that as well?
Yeah, I'd also say I've had a setback in the recruitment business from being over enthusiastic, I would say.
Okay.
It's exciting when you open your first business and you want to be, you want to be doing well. You want to have a big team. You want to have a nice office. So you sign up to a lot of things that you might not necessarily need, or you get a little bit ahead of yourself. So I grew possibly a little too quickly. I sat on my own for about a year, and then I started recruiting, and I recruited quickly 5 people to work for me.
Okay.
And I probably should have put, ironically, for a recruitment business, should have put more due diligence into my recruitment process and the training that I provided for those people, because those people didn't stay in the business quite as long as I would have liked, and they weren't as successful as I would have liked. So some of those people ended up, rather than enhancing my bottom line revenue, of detracting from it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
then I've regroup, and of course I've then got a larger office to accommodate these people, which cost me a lot more money. And now I shrunk back down, and now I'm growing back again. So I've got my 4th person coming to join us in September. So we're getting back up again, but in a more considered process. Don't be too eager to grow, to have all of this extra productivity, because great, I'm doing great. Employee number 2, they're doing great. Imagine how well we could do with 3, 4, 5. And if you can't invest that time and investment into selecting them and then be training them and motivating them, then actually what you've got is larger salary bills, larger building costs, larger IT equipment costs, all those hidden extras that you might not have taken into consideration, battering down your profits. And if they're not performing, that's a scary place to be. Yeah.
100%. And what would you say the kind of the issues that all that brought for you then? What are the issues that you say you cut back, you scaled back down due to growing too fast? What were the changes you made? I think you've already reflected a few, but what were the kind of the big shifts that you've made? So coming out of those challenges, what are the decisions you take to kind of get it right this time as such?
Okay, first of all, monitor my team's performance to a closer degree. I was trying possibly a little bit too hard to be a great boss, you know what I mean? Great culture.
Yeah.
And holding people accountable is probably a good thing to do. It helps them, and it helps me to keep an eye on when things start to turn a little bit not so great. And everyone's going to have periods like that, how you can then support them to get their revenue back up. So number 1 is monitoring and setting KPIs that are effective. Number 2 is really keep an idea of your base costs. I'm leaving my office now.
Okay.
I've got a fairly nice office. This is my home, but normally I'm in an office. But because of COVID, we've reduced down our hours. My team didn't want to come in any more than anyone else does now. I see you're in an office, you are in an office, right? That's not your office.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Otherwise, we've got some interior decor problems at your place. So my team doesn't want to come in very much anymore. So I lost some staff because they don't want to be in a working environment as much as anyone else doesn't now. So scaling back to maybe 1 to 2 days a week in the office means we don't need such an extravagant office space. Yeah. So therefore that becomes a rather large black mark in the book against hardly any actual usage. So that scale back is happening at, well, contractually tied until Christmas, and then we'll get a nicer, funnily enough, less used office where I can then give enhanced benefits to my team as well, for them to have a better working relationship. Yeah?
And then kind of looking on the back of that, then what do you think that's going to produce? What do you think the outcome of kind of that, those taking those steps and that story is going to be?
Greater employee engagement, because they know that they don't have to come to the office so often. I can subsequently adjust their targets down slightly because we don't have such a large overhead to cover. It's just money out the door for office space we're not using. Greater well-being, because I can give them additional benefits with some of that savings, such as full gym membership, which is something that I want to pass on to them, because then it's well-being of the body and helps well-being of the mind. Greater attraction of future team members, because we offer something a little bit different to other recruitment agencies that are out there. So I think if you've got a good working life, whether that be from home or from an office, whichever suits you, you're just happier to roll out of bed and do your best every day, right?
Nice. So what kind of keeps you motivated then as an individual, Andrew? What keeps you driving? What keeps you pushing? What keeps you motivated to kind of keep taking the business to that next stage?
That's a really good question. I got asked this last night, actually. What keeps me motivated? I mean, look, no one should start a business unless you want to make money. Okay,
agreed.
Business. If you really love to do something and you don't care about money, then do it as a hobby, right? So making money keeps me motivated. Seeing both of the businesses doing well financially is great. Okay, that's ultimately why we go to work. Secondarily to that, I love feedback from my clients when we're doing well. I love acquiring new clients through recommendation from existing clients. Those are the kind of things. So a little bit like a dog, really. just feed me and pat me on the head, and then I feel like I'm
It's that kind of positivity and the positive feedback, and obviously the financial gain as well. Then.
exactly. And also lastly from the team, just seeing the team doing well, seeing them earning money, seeing them being happy to come in, and the interactions that they have with each other and with me keeps everything feeling like a good culture. Yeah.
Nice. So what does kind of the future look like? What does the journey ahead look like for you then, Andrew? What are the goals that you're aspiring to reach in the future?
With the logistics business, I said it was a warehouse and software business. We started off with one huge enterprise client providing the software for them and also the warehousing. That business is moving towards a pure software business.
Okay.
Take the headache out of having a warehousing partner that has to store, ship, and all the issues that you get with logistics and transport.
100%.
I found out I can make the software for them and charge them a subscription fee, which would be a lot less than handling the whole warehouse and operation, but gives us more access to customers and a lot less headache because it's just a piece of software that makes it.
Yeah, nice.
So that's a transition from a physical business into a digital. That's it for that business. And when I've got more time, which is sadly what I absolutely lack, I need to do some new business around this business, because all I'm getting at the moment is companies, and they are huge companies, coming to use me for a small piece of action. Yeah.
Okay.
So I need to get out there and start marketing my business to a greater degree, and going out and searching for those new clients to grow that business. Recruitment business, we've already started this differentiation of client base. We've got our key clients that we continue to work with. Love working with them. Are a great client, and we make good placements with them, and our placements stay. So now it's about bringing on more customers, the small to medium-sized businesses that we can help them grow, and we can grow with them, and really differentiating that client base, and also moving from permanent recruitment into more of contract as well, which we do.
Okay, nice.
We do a little bit of it, but just a token effort when we get the opportunity. I don't have someone to run that for me, so I want to bring on some more skilled people to join the skilled people I've already got, to sort of then grow the business more that way.
Fantastic. And I guess really then, from my point of view, if you started over again, if you started both businesses, let's talk about both of them kind of individually. If you started them both again, is there anything you do like extremely differently? Is there anything that you think I just shouldn't have done that? I think you kind of spoke a little bit about it in the scaling up and the scalability too fast in one respect, but is there anything else that just kind of stands out at you in your journey as I just shouldn't have done that? Or if you should have done it, you would have still done it differently, obviously.
There's the piece around staffing. So when I had a couple of people on the team that I employed, I probably stepped back a little bit too far and just let them get on with it and enjoyed being the boss. Yeah. Which was a real amateur mistake, because I knew not to do that, and I still did it anyway. So remain more involved until you've got people up to speed. That's number one. Number two, this is a contentious one, because it really depends on your business model. But there is so much emphasis nowadays on your online presence and digital marketing techniques and impressions and clicks, and the customer journey, the client journey through all social media, and that can be very, very useful. But you can set a whole business up on the side of your own business, just monitoring the impact of your social impact, right? You can be checking Google SEO daily, the analytics around that. You need to do it, and this is why it's so business dependent, right? You need to do it to the level you need to do it as a minimum, because you'll never reach full potential in the digital marketing space. So if you overly invest in that area, expecting that to be the only way you're going to get business, then you're going to fail, I believe. Yeah, unless you own a digital marketing business, and then that's perfect.
So what's the kind of learning there for you then? Stay with kind of like the people to people style marketing, the relationship style marketing, more than kind of focusing on that digital until you've got that level of cash flow, profitability, sustainability you're looking for.
Yeah, you've got to have an online presence, right? You've got to put social out there. You've got to be active on LinkedIn. All these things. Do it to a good standard rather than to a high quantity, because you need time left in your day to make proper connections where you're meeting people, where you're going to the right events, for example, which I've got more on as well. Actually, what's the wrong kind of event, and time to actually do the work rather than just shout about the
what
work
you could do
or aren't doing. Yeah. Yeah.
So kind of making the money as well, I guess, is a big part of that, and the key, doing the work that brings the money in as well.
Absolutely. Every time, every minute you're sat there and you're not doing something that's directly driving your revenue, you're costing money.
Agreed, 100%. So I think, look, there's some fantastic learnings in there. So thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate that. I guess my final question to you then, what would you say to anyone that's looking to start a business or looking to go into business? What would your one piece of advice to them be?
I would say look after your basic needs, right? You know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Yeah. Okay. So as long as your basic needs are met and you're not going to like starve your family by following something that you want to do, there's never an ideal time to get into starting a business. There's never an ideal product. There's never that key piece of innovation that's different to everybody else. You don't need to wait for that. Stop procrastinating and bloody well get on with it, right? Because if you walk down the Sainsbury's bread aisle, there is not one bread that is significantly better than the rest. And all of these people that make bread are making millions and millions of pounds. So you don't have to be an absolute differentiation market. You need to have a product that is good, and you need to have a service that is good, and then just get on with it and stop waiting for the ideal opportunity, because it won't come.
Amazing. I think that's a great bit of advice. Stop procrastinating and get on. I like that. Look, Andrew, thank you ever so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I think it's some really valuable content and key learnings in there for people that are logged in and listening. So thank you for your time, and I wish you all the very best with both your businesses moving forward.
No worries. Thanks for your time, Steve.
Cheers, Andrew. Take care.